afternoon. This is Talk Tea with Dee, and my guest today is none other than Jack Plotnick, who you might recognize if you ever were a fan of Reno 911. Girls will be girls.
Oh,
So many, so many. Oh, he's an actor, and welcome. Thank you for coming. I went to high school with him, so that's how I know him. Hi, Jack.
I love you, Thea. I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you for having me.
So, are we coming from West Hollywood, from right across the street where I used to live?
Right, there you are. How many
No.
years ago, right there.
Jack, how long have you lived there?
Well, I just just started my career, so about 3 years. No, probably 20,000.
No, you are. You're just a young, fresh-faced
Right
ingenue,
off the bus
just
with
getting
my
to Los
tap
Angeles.
shoes.
I think you might make it in the acting thing. You should give it a try.
I printed out 5 headshots. That should be enough for a career.
Well, I used to live across the street from you, which was just a coincidence. I didn't move there to be near you, but I ended up around you.
I love you,
And
and it was so great when you were here. We
I
miss you.
know I was right there. And then I feel like you never lived in New York City, never, no.
Well, I did for 3 years after college, and then moved to LA. So
So
yeah,
we might have lived there at the same time. I feel like maybe I did have lunch with you. We did, huh?
I think when you were working at Fridays,
All right, it was Houlihan's.
Houlihan's, Applebee's.
Well, Jack was becoming the famous actor that he is. I was slinging um, stuffed potatoes and stuffed potato skins and chicken fingers in Times Square at Houlihan's. And I do believe you did meet up with me. We did have, I remember it now, we did have drinks in back in 1988. I believe, but I've known Jack since I was 15. We
You
went to
know,
Worthington High School together, the great Worthington High School, right?
oh yeah,
Did
such
we
a
not?
special
Were we?
place.
We were so lucky.
We were so blessed to go
We
to
were
that school. That Worthington had a great school system. The teachers really cared about students.
right.
We had the most amazing theater department and theater teacher ever. I literally had lunch with our theater teacher 3 months ago. Bronwyn Hopton, love
I
her.
Oh my gosh, and she was just in a play, which I swear to God, the thought crossed my mind, like get on a plane, go see Mrs.
No,
Upton and Fireflies. Like, are you kidding? That woman gave
I
us
thought
life.
the same thing. I so would have loved to see her perform. She is such a dear lady.
She is. I just can't even believe she's still at it. She still looks. She's one of those people, you guys, who looks exactly the same this entire time. Like she looked, this age when she was younger, and she looks younger this age. She just never aged
I
ever.
literally was saying that to somebody. She looked 60 when she was 30, and she looks 60 right now, and she's 90. It's like just
Is she 90?
no, but no, she's old though. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so we went to school with a couple. Well, Rachel Harris, she's pretty famous. When she said,
Very famous. You kidding? That she is never not on a TV series. And I did a bunch of shows at Worthington with Rachel.
you did, Rachel, we had a
Yeah.
great theater department. Were you in Dark of the Moon with us? No.
No, and I saw that show and I was weeping. It was the most beautiful work of art. She directed the shit
Me
out
and
of that.
Rachel fist fought on stage. Remember, we rolled around.
Yes. Weren't you in the show? Were you somehow partnered up with Bobby O'Dare?
Yes, yes.
I feel like you were. Anyway, yeah. So you got to punch Rachel in the face, which we all sort of wanted to at times.
Right, exactly. Yes, I stood next to Bobby O'Dare and said, "We was in the we was in the barn shucking dry corn.
Yeah.
Corn shucks dry. Corn shucks warm." That was my one of my many lines in Dark of the Moon in high school. Thank you. Why I didn't go into acting, it's beyond me because I those words just roll off my tongue. So
I
now,
thought you stole the show with that sentence.
so we went to an amazing high school. I actually ran away from home to go to Worthington. I ran away, like didn't tell my mom I was going. I was a camp counselor, and I told my mom to pick me up on August 27th, and August 26th, my aunt picked me up, drove me to the airport. I got on a plane and went to live with my dad because my three sisters already went to Worthington, and I already knew what an amazing school it was, and I was dying to go there. I knew that they taught Shakespeare, that they had a great theater program. I was dying to go there. I
That
just
is so you to like know what you want and just take it and get it and go for it. That is utmost respect. That's incredible.
Well, in ninth grade, I went to a high school in Keene, New Hampshire, where you had to, before you went to the bathroom, you had to call in, like, I'm not a teacher, so they could all stop doing drugs. So you could go in and use the restroom. That was my high school. It was so redneck. And
Where was that?
there was Keene, New Hampshire, and there was no Shakespeare at that school, let's just say.
No, I don't think so.
So I said, I'm
Wow.
getting out of here. And I went to my dad's because of the school. I remember we had our own building just for theater. How lucky we were with a little stage. And
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Yeah, you had told me that story that you didn't have heat as a little girl in that back home.
Exactly. I was going for the school, and partly I wanted heat and like a dishwasher, electricity, like a way to turn on the light that wasn't lighting a little piece of cloth that you put in oil.
Yeah, that you said we didn't have heat at night in the dead of winter, so you just under like 100 blankets, and it's why you never get colds. I
Right.
couldn't imagine. That is wow, that's wild.
All right. So
Look at
Jack,
you
so now
now.
cut,
Now you have
cut.
heat and you have running water.
You
Incredible.
don't understand. Every amenity still to this day means so much to me. Like the fact that like we can
Yeah.
turn on air conditioning in my house and control the temperature. I feel so spoiled and rich. I need nothing else other than like be able to turn switches. That's it.
Switches. So that means you obviously didn't have a TV, right, as a kid, or
No.
no?
So all the references people make now, I never watched any of those shows. We had no TV. We
Hey.
finally, when I was in eighth grade, got electricity and there was a TV, but we weren't allowed to use it. It wasn't like, we had two channels and we weren't allowed to turn it on. So it really didn't matter.
So
And
what does a kid do in the 20th century when they don't have any of the regular things a kid can do?
well,
What'd you
you have
do
a
for
lot to do
fun?
because you have to churn the butter, make the bread, do the laundry riding on a bicycle so that the tub in the back would swish the clothes around, and then put them on the washboard. And you had to put the hot rocks in the bed from the wood stove. Like you had a lot to do. You had to milk the cow, get the eggs from the chickens. You had to go out in the garden and weed the garden for your vegetables for the salad. Like, trust me, we were well entertained.
So when you moved to Old Worthington, what was the biggest, there's a word for it, but like where like seismic change of like of your reality, was it?
No, what was great was my dad lived in a townhouse there. So it was like an apartment building, but a little townhouse, like a little apartment with a pool. It was amazing. So it really was. We didn't live in some big, huge house, but it was so great for me because it had all the comforts of home. And then I loved that I could ride my bike to school. Like we lived an hour from our school, an hour by bus from our school. So I
Oh,
couldn't like stay after
wow.
school and do activities like join the theater department because there was no way to
Yeah.
get home. You had to take the bus. So all that stuff, I stayed at Worthington. I mean, I was there doing plays and stuff till nighttime, and then I would go home. I mean, all that stuff was so new,
Oh,
and
yeah.
just going over to friends' houses, running through the woods at night when I snuck out of my apartment with my friend.
Yeah, we all went through I got caught sadly the third time I did it and we got taken to the police station. Did you ever get caught?
I never got caught. I was in your neighborhood a lot because Tabby and Faye Hare, remember them? Didn't they live in your little neighborhood, Tabby and Faye? Were you in like,
So,
did they call it like Colonial Town or something? What
oh
did,
no, I wasn't there. I was near Evening Street Elementary for those of you who know the area.
oh,
I was by the high school. I could walk there.
oh, right. Okay. Well, I would run by your house because I
But
had a huge, huge crush on you when I was younger. This is the 80s. It was unrequited. I don't understand it. I never did. I know you kissed Cindy King in seventh grade, and I never forgot that. I'm like, you
I
kissed
used
Cindy
to
King.
ride by Cindy King's house. Isn't that sweet that all the kids are riding by and
Yeah.
I didn't have any classes with you, so didn't know you really until later, like when we were doing theater together.
Right. Yeah. I didn't have classes there. I just knew you from your plays. I would go to your plays and like bring you flowers and stuff, sit in the front row of all your
I
plays.
just had a flashback to you doing that, you sweetheart.
I think that was pretty nice of me for being like, 15, 16, like to bring you flowers. I think that was pretty nice. I'm
I
a good fan.
if I hadn't been gay, the flowers would have done it. I'm telling you, because I remember you doing that. It was so sweet.
Well, that could be the name of your memoir. If I hadn't been gay by Jack Plotnick, and it could all be a fan fiction about how we could be together.
Right.
So now flip forward 40 years, and now what are you up to? So I obviously just named two of the shows that you've been in, a movie and a show, and there's been hundreds of others.
Well, I just kept acting and acting in dramas and comedies, and then I started writing and directing. I wrote a Broadway musical. I wrote a feature film, which you were a huge help on, and I'd love to talk about that because I didn't have an ending to my movie. It's called Space Station 76,
You
and it's
guys,
there's-
brilliant,
yeah.
brilliant movie, brilliant script. He brought me the script and I dropped everything. I'm like, what? How does Jack Plotnick from my high school write this amazing script? You were like, hey, I wrote this thing. You can look
Well,
at
I
it.
created it with through improv with some fantastic comedy actors here in LA. And then I took that live show script that we performed many times. I adapted it into a screenplay, but it didn't have an ending. It ended with with this big fight with the whole. It's a crew of a spaceship in a futuristic version of the 1970s, and it was yeah, it just ended with this fight, and then they all go to bed, and you fixed it.
And
She's
it had Liv Tyler, Matt Bomer, correct? In
Yeah,
amazing
Patrick
movie.
Wilson, Jerry O'Connell got great reviews. Yeah.
Such a thrill. You know what's funny? I just saw today online, somebody said that they were talking about a great movie that came out this year in Indy, and they said everyone needs to see this movie called The Assessment. It's an amazing movie, and I hope it doesn't fall through the cracks because no one's really been talking about it. And I said, oh my gosh, I did notes on that script years ago. And I also gave that person some pretty heavy notes, and I wrote a message and said, hey, we did an online screenwriting competition at Shore Scripts where I used to work, and this person, I picked his script to win, and it won the whole competition, and I gave him notes on it as well. And he was like, oh yeah. I said, I hope my notes were helpful. He said they were. I'm like, seriously, giving a good note, it's just a rush for a development girl. It's a rush. So I can't wait to see the movie.
It's the best when you can, because writers, they're too close to the material. And when you're smart and you're able to understand storytelling, you can see things really, clearly when the writer is just blind to it.
I love that movie so much. So do you think so? What, and obviously you work a lot with Seth Rudetsky, and you
Yeah.
guys put what on Broadway recently?
We wrote a show called Disaster, and it is a 1970s disaster movie musical with all hit songs from the 70s.
So it's
And
like a parody of like Poseidon, those kind of Titanic.
yeah, more like an homage, but yeah, like parody. Yeah. And what it is kind of every disaster that happened in those 1970s movies, we shoved them all into one horrible night for these poor people on a casino boat on the Hudson River.
And
And
they perform that other places, right? It's not just
yeah,
right.
that's
Like
my
there's a book.
favorite thing is when another theater does the show and I either get invited to it or I'll see clips on YouTube. I mean, what a thrill that is. Yeah.
That's great. And so now, what else are you gonna do? What are you writing? What are you
Well, I
directing?
just finished. I was making during quarantine, I started making these videos where I insert myself into the wonderful world of color episodes, the Walt Disney TV show. And so I made 5 of those, and they were just sort of these little episodic, funny little
I've
things.
seen every one of them, and they're brilliant. The darkest, the kind of most subtle humor. This is why I love your humor. It is so subtle. You really have to pay attention, and then suddenly, like you can't breathe. You're laughing so hard.
Oh, thank you. And so anyway, 2 years ago, I wanted to keep doing the Disney videos, but I wanted to kind of delve deeper and maybe tell like a more elongated story. And so I did sort of a feature film, but in 8 parts. And I just finished that. And the last episode just came out. It was sort of a mystery thriller that takes place in the world of the Imagineers of Disneyland. Anyway, so this week I'm gonna take those 8 episodes, and I always envisioned them as a feature film instead, but I put them out separately because they'll get more views that way. But
Right.
I've cut them together, and now they're a 45-minute long just story called Disney Made a House of the Future, and I'm going to put that out this week. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a great way to watch the whole thing because they're all together like a real film.
This is what I love about you, Jack. So people can just watch that on YouTube, right? They don't have to
Yeah.
pay anything.
Nah.
I mean, this is Jack, by the way, has been teaching acting and sharing his wisdom about the theater and the acting world for so long without taking money from people. It's really crazy how many people we know who have these huge acting schools that are just raking in money. And there's Jack like, listen, you can download my guide to, booking
Yeah,
the
I have
part.
a
That's if that's what
Everything
you
I
care
teach,
about.
you can read for free. I have a free ebook at my website and teaches you how to never be nervous again. Even if you're not an actor, you can use it to let go of all anxiety, teaches how to act on film. But yeah, my take is that I am so blessed to have gotten to make a living doing what I love. And so I just want to like give back.
So this is, I'm so excited to see this and share this. So 45 minutes, it's all put together. It's actually a real like beginning, middle, and end story.
Yeah, and what I wanted to do is a lot of things got introduced in those first 5 shorts I did. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to kind of explain why those things are happening? Like, for instance, there was a character who would just sort of go into a daydreams and fantasize as she was on the ride, even though it hadn't been built, and she would sing songs to the characters. Point is, I thought, well, why is she doing that? And so that gets answered. Why was Walt Disney so obsessed with animatronics? That gets answered. And
Ah,
it's all like a really crazy, dark mystery thriller, but with Disney characters and laughs.
all right. I'm so excited about that. And then I know you probably have 25 other things you're doing. What else?
Oh my gosh. I had was directing a show. It's a parody of the movie Grease. I didn't write this, but I was so honored that they asked me, and we did a couple readings in New York, but unfortunately we weren't able to raise the money to do the show off Broadway because it really is insanely expensive to do a show off Broadway. It's almost kind of going away because you can't, investors just feel like they can't make enough money doing it.
Right. So then will you put it up anywhere? LA, nowhere? You don't know.
Well, I hope so, but as the director of it, I don't have much power to
Right.
decide.
You're just,
I mean, we sold out Town Hall. We did this huge star-studded benefit for actors, and everybody loved it, but it's just we didn't raise the money, and so that's frustrating.
Jack, it's so sad. The state of theater, it's killing me. And I keep paying big bucks to see these shows on Broadway, and I'm like, uh, it's not that good. This is
Oh, really? Oh,
no,
wow.
like
Oh,
when
it's
I
so
tell you
overpriced. Oh
the
my God.
quality, the prices have gone through the roof. I'm talking, you could pay 750 for. I didn't, but I'm just saying you could
No,
ostensibly pay
yeah.
$750 a ticket, and this is not amazing. There is some amazing theater out there, obviously, but a lot of the
Because
big
your
names.
voices aren't being heard. It's the same with film. It's like you can only raise the money to do a Broadway show if if you have an IP or if you've already done a Broadway show, and it makes it very restrictive to new and creative voices. I will say I saw Maybe Happy Endings on Broadway, and that was fantastic.
I've
But
heard great things
yeah,
about.
I highly recommend that. But I was going to say also, you asked me what I'm doing. I filmed the lead in a comedy movie opposite Rachel Dratch in the fall, and that's going to premiere at film festivals this fall.
Well,
So,
that's exciting, and that'll be at
oh, I
film
love it.
festivals.
I love it so much. It is such a crazy script, really over the top, but also has a lot of heart. They um I play like a washed up drug addicted gay actor like sort of Rip Taylor or Paul Lynn who became famous by being the middle square on a game show type person.
Right.
uh it's like it's the biggest role I've ever had in a movie, and it was really fun to bring him to life, and obviously to work opposite Rachel Dratch, who is just, I love her.
And do you have know the name of it yet or not yet? We don't
Well,
know.
the name right now isn't is called it's called Love's Company.
Okay.
And I don't know if it'll be called that when it comes out, but you won't miss it because it's Rachel Dratch starring in a movie where she plays this hick girl from Florida who, in a way, kind of kidnaps her favorite celebrity, me.
No way. I
Yeah,
love it.
it's wild.
That is so funny. I was just helping. There's a writer, a big Seinfeld writer, but he writes movies as well. He wrote like the Molly Shannon Superstar movie and a bunch of stuff. He used
Oh,
to write. So
love it.
he's writing a show for Molly Shannon for HBO, and he wanted my help because he's incorporating some Bravo stuff into it, and he doesn't watch Bravo, doesn't watch Housewives, and so he called me to ask me, like, would this character say this? Like, would this, because he wants to incorporate
That's
some. I
perfect.
know, but I'm laughing because the premise of the show is that she gets obsessed with a celebrity. And so she checks herself into a rehab, a very expensive rehab, to be near the celebrity who's been put in rehab. Molly Shannon's like a stalker, kind of. And so
Yeah.
that's the premise. So I love all these celeb obsessed premises because, of course, that's our society right now. Everyone's so, over the top obsessed with every single thing everybody's doing, to the point where I can't even imagine being a celebrity right now.
And are they definitely going to make this, or is it just right now a pilot?
No, it's nothing. He's writing. So HBO hired him. They want a show for her. They want more,
Well,
but
I
no,
love her.
yeah. So
I
they
love
haven't.
her. I hope this goes and that you get to be more a part of it.
I hope. Yeah. So they're going to have to obviously film the pilot. I mean, there's lots of steps to go. But right now, I don't know how many shows HBO has in development. I know about development hell, so I wouldn't say anything's definite. But she's a big star. And I love this guy, is a really big writer. He wrote some of the most memorable Seinfeld episodes. So I don't know. I feel like it has all the right elements, but who knows? Who knows what gets made in these days?
Almost nothing. There's nothing happening. Some people would say the industry died. I believe it will come back eventually, but it's really a hard time for any creative person, whether you're an actor who used to get auditions and there's nothing now, or whether you're somebody who does craft service on sets and there's no work, the crew has no work. It's really strange and sad.
I know it's dire. I have so many friends that are out of work, especially production people. Those are the hardest hit, like DPs and all those people there.
Oh, I mean, really, it's heartbreaking. I can imagine just sort of coming out of school and wanting to make it as an actor today, when things are so, there just seems, I mean, all your only choice is to be a content creator. And I mean, it's just the work, like it's all work.
And you literally do not have the time to do what you're doing, the creative endeavors, the side things. Oh, I know, like Leslie Kahn teaches, like, make your own stuff now. Well, who has the time? Because they all have full-time jobs. They have to go to corporate offices. They don't have time to make their own stuff. And then they're going to their auditions, on the side. So that's the hardest part of the whole thing. If you want to make your own stuff and get known to go viral or whatever, no one has time for that.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, what they're doing, I guess, is they're making these, they'll just hold the camera and like do a character and talk into it. And it's it doesn't allow you to really get into the artistic endeavor the way that I've had time with my Disney series, because you're right, like you have to have a job. Like, and the shocking thing is it's now come to a point where you can be you can have your dream job, but they're not paying you enough. It's not enough money, and you have to get a second job, even if you're on a series or whatever. Like, because it's just a very strange time.
Anyway. It's a strange time, but I will say I have so much respect for people like you who stuck with it, who are still out there, because I obviously couldn't hack it. But I mean, I feel like I have a few friends, that are really like out there, just still acting and still showing up in shows here and there and doing, I have so much respect, because everyone just must be worried about where their next job's coming from. And that to me is, whew, I don't know.
Well, I think a lot of people are leaving the business, or they're now having to find another income avenue, and then
I love it. People ask me all the time, like, why does Hollywood keep making the same stuff? Why are they doing all these remakes? Like, come up with an original idea. Like, first of all, no one has time for an original idea. Second of all, studios aren't buying original ideas. No, they're only paying for sure things, like, property they already own. This is not a creative industry anymore. Well, mainstream Hollywood, studio Hollywood's not creative industry anymore. I'm obviously out the outskirts. There's still people creating all the time, and you can say that they have more access than ever in terms of being able to get your work out there. Like, there's the internet, there's social media. So if you're good, people will find you. Mm-hmm. I mean, I look at your shorts, like those things were brilliant. How did anyone find them? People know about them. This is not like 5 of your close friends that are watching these. I mean, people talk about those.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, anyway, it's a depressing subject. We could keep talking about it, but we could also talk about what is the latest magical thing your children have done. What's the new magical thing they're obsessed with, they're into?
I like that my daughter, who's 6, calls my husband, big man. When he comes home, she goes, "The big man's home." The big man is here.
Where did she get that?
I don't know.
You didn't say it? She just came up
I
with it?
never called him the big man in my entire life. I don't know what she's talking about. This girl is six
Oh,
going on 60. She drinks coffee in the morning. She's like she is. She stays up till like 11 p.m. She sleeps like 5 hours and then she's like, okay, ready to go.
oh my God, it's a baby
So
Thea.
she's great. And then my son, he's 8. He's got issues. He's got autism and ADHD, but he is so, when you get something out of him, it's just so magical. They're both magical. I don't know. I created these kids out of thin air, as you know, Jack, just literally because of pep talk from Jack Plotnick on like a Wednesday afternoon in West Hollywood, where I went to him and I was like, my life just sucks, and I'm never gonna get married. I'm never gonna have kids. I'm just wallowing in debt. My life is just over. I'm like, I don't know what I was probably 40. Here I am 40, thinking I'm like 90. Like, what is I talking about?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, I
Jack,
remember this so
it's
well.
over for me. Like, I guess, like, I hope you think good things happen for you because it's over for me. And he was like, are you sure it's over for you? Like, let's just start this. Let's just think about this for a second. You have a
Let's
couple
look at this.
skills.
What do we got? What do we got?
You're like, you have some skills. You were like, make a website, charge people for your, because I used to do, people would give me their scripts and I would just like help them. And
Yeah,
Jack's like,
that's what
is
you did
this,
with me. You were just like, here's all my talent for free. And I
I
was
was
like,
you
yeah,
without like
like,
without any other career to fall back on. And you were like, let's just think for a second that maybe you could charge people. And I literally started an online business where I charge people to do notes on their scripts. I ghost wrote stuff for people, which I'm still doing to this day, which is all came from you. And I just turned my entire life around, like got out of debt, like convinced the guy that I'd been seeing on and off for years to marry me. He had told me that he wouldn't marry me if I was in debt. And I was like, well, there goes that. And you were like, no, let's just think for a second. You
I
have
get
some,
moved
yeah,
when I think about this because I remember that day so well. And it's like, just like we were saying earlier with the writing, it's like I saw how great your life was about to be. I knew everything you were saying was not true. And the funny thing is, we were like probably at a coffee shop or something. I don't remember. But we, if I recall, went straight to my house and built your
right.
website.
No,
Like it
you
was
were like,
like
we're going
that
right
day.
now. This is
We went
starting today.
because I knew this website builder that I know nothing about websites, but I had just made my own website with this really bad and easy to use website builder. And we just created a website and we were like, what else does a website need? I was like, you need people saying nice things about you. And so I wrote mine and you were like, I think I could get a recommendation from this person, that person. I was like, call them. And it was like, because I saw and I knew, you're just such a
That was the biggest
you're
advice you gave.
you're
One
a
of the big,
talent special person. You're talented and you're special and you're magic. And I knew that.
well, that was one of the biggest things you told me was just ask people. They'll be happy to help you. Just say, hey, could you give me a blurb for my website? Because I was just in that point where I was like, I just felt bad asking for things and I was the one who helped people. So you come to me if you need something. I don't go to other people. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, and then you were so right. It really makes people happy to help. They're like, of course I'm going to do that. You did this for me and this for me and this for me. Of course I will. You can use my whatever. And then I totally dug myself out of a hole so
Yeah.
deep, like that was you, but then the rest was me, and I just scrappy like dug,
I
got
remember.
got my not even boyfriend at the time. He was like my friend, got him to marry me. Like that was a miracle. I was like, listen, you're 40, you're not getting any younger. I'm still here. I waited this guy out for years. Like he had no interest. He was like, we're not a thing. And I was like, oh yeah, well, you got someone else? And he was like, you got a point. And Siri literally married me. And now we're like 10 years married, 2 kids that I created literally in a petri dish because at that point I was too old. And now there I am. Everything just a little
Oh,
later. It was a little later than the average, but that's the whole point. Like you don't give up on anything.
yeah. Yeah. I think, you're just a really good person and you just didn't know that you deserve to ask for what you need. Just what you need, like you were just saying, look, I'm gonna rewrite your script, but can you pay me a little?
Would you mind just paying me for like just a few dollars so I could get like some lunch?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm forever indebted to you for that. But you, Jack, have, I'm sure, inspired so many people with your acting lectures and your free downloaded book and your hysterical plays. And now you're going to be in a movie with Rachel Dratch. I mean, this could be you could be the next, I don't know. You're already the only Jack Plotnick there is out there. There's nobody else.
I love that. You could be the next. Oh, wait, you're already Jack Plotnick.
You're already Jack. Well, the next
I
two.
like being Jack Plotnick. I'm good with that. I mean, look, you always hope maybe there's one more big project, whether it's a movie or a TV series or even, but I'm not counting on it right now because the business is so insane. I just mostly try to focus on how grateful I am that I got to enjoy Hollywood in the 90s and 2000, but because it was incredible and
It
there was
was a
so
free for
much
all.
work. It
There
wasn't,
was there
they
was
paid
unlimited
well.
money. I know. And you know what, Chuck? I remember going to Hollywood. I would never forget the day when I was trying to impress somebody. I'm sitting at something and I swear I brought up your movie, Girls Will Be Girls. And then I went to high school with you, and this person was like, "Stop everything! What are you saying to me right now? You know, Evie, like you know that person." And I like this is a movie that Jack did. You can look it up if you want to see the most hilarious movie ever.
It
And
was I made with my friends. My friend wrote and directed it. We did all of it ourselves, the set, the costumes, and it's on Netflix right now, but only for 2 more weeks. It's called Girls
what?
Be Girls. Yeah, because they only bought it for a year.
Oh my gosh, Girls Will Be Girls with Jack Plotnick. Just go. I'm not
Really
even gonna tell
funny,
you what
really sick and twisted. If you like
it's
that
really.
kind
I'm
of
not even
John
gonna tell
Waters,
you what it is, but it'll change your life. I don't know for the better, or for the worse, but it will affect you
definitely
deeply.
worse. Definitely worse. It'll make you sick.
Okay, Jack. Well, I love you. Thank you so much for coming on my little pod and talking to me. I'm actually it was just a great way to catch up with you. So I'm happy we did this, like a little
Oh, what
FaceTime
a
with Jack pod.
joy. What a joy. Yeah, it makes me sad you don't live here anymore and I can't see you.
I know.
But
Well,
I'm
I
glad
do
you're doing so well and the kids are well and the big man is well.
the big man as well. And I do come out sometimes. So next time I'm out there, we're
You
gonna have
must.
lunch for
You
sure.
must.
Yes. Okay. All right. I
But
love
wait,
you. Thank you so
are we
much.
saying, are you going to just hang up on me? Don't
Yeah.
hang up on me. Just stop recording. Is there a way to do that? Can I have some
Yeah.
time?
Yes. Yes. I will stop recording. Okay. Love you, Jack. I'm gonna stop
Love
recording.
you. Bye.